Yeah, okay. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar. And they call me on the phone and they say, "Hey, man, what's your show about anyway?" So it's about an hour about, guitar players, guitar playing, and all things guitaristic. So, you want to call me on the phone and ask me a question about the care and feeding of your guitar, or, what kind of guitar is right for you, how to play the guitar, how to deal with a guitar player at home. That's new, isn't it, huh? Yeah, you like that one? Anyway, or some related topic like the guitarrón, the sitar, the guitarra, chitoles, ludes, vihuelas, banjos, balalaikas, bazookies, bajos, sextos, tiples, chitoles. I said that already, didn't I? I meant cavaquinhos and charangos.
Well, we'll find out if anybody's listening.
Yeah, well, hey, man, you already said that.
Call in and tell us.
Yeah, nobody calls anymore. You don't call anyway. They text.
Well, the phone number's on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
If it's Tuesday, we'll answer.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. If you want to call, you go ahead and call. We'll talk to you. But anyway.
On Friday, we never pick up the phone.
Yeah, no, because it's a rerun. See, we're not really here. Anyway, pipe organs, piccolos, trombones, tromba marinas, cornetos, cornets, clavinets, clavichords, harpsichords, harmoniums, I don't know. Anything. You make music, trumpets or, I don't know.
Kazoos.
There we go. But, or you could talk about politics, world events, or your own personality problems, but it's fine. We're here for you. But, keep it clean. This is a family show. All right. Okay. So, doing this for 21 years is kind of weird, People recognize me all over the place for this show, though, when I wander around. But I think it's that they see it briefly. They're always like channel surfing and say, "Oh, the guitar guy on TV again. He was here last year." Click. They go on.
Every time the commercials are on the show I watch, the guitar guy's on that other channel.
That's right. And over the years, sooner or later, everybody sees the show. But does anybody really watch it?
Some people come out and see you live on weekends. Where would they do that?
Well, this weekend I'll be at the Tuscan Moon, both Friday and Saturday nights. I think I'm firmly established on Fridays again. And it's been a really big show. I mean, really busy and lots of stuff happening. And
that's in Kelowna.
It's Kelowna, yeah. Kelowna, right downtown Kelowna, right next to the bakery. Yeah. And, you go. My advice is take 218 south because it's a 4-lane highway. And then you get off at Riverside, which you've told is exit 80, right?
Yeah. Follow the horse and buggy with the big orange triangle on the back.
That's right, down Highway 22. So you have to go turn right onto Highway 22, go through the metropolis of Riverside, where I'll also be playing with the Tribbles at the end of the month, the band, because we are the house band for the Trek Fest. Huh. They have no other bands now. It's just us, because people don't go out at night to the festivities at night. So there's the parade. And then there's the, pulled pork sandwiches and, apple pie and stuff, and of course potato salad and coleslaw. And there's Tom and the Tribbles from 11 to 1, the last Saturday of the month, the 27th or something like that. Anyway, and then, but anyway, after you've driven through Riverside, you just, the 7 miles you'll be in Kelowna when there's a sign that says Business District, and you turn there left. And there you will find Tuscan Moon right there, kind of in the middle. Can't miss it. It's a larger, red brick building with pretty vines growing on the pergola.
So last Saturday in June, all the Trekkies can come down and tell us not to call them Trekkies.
That's right. Yeah. Don't they like being called Trekkies?
Some apparently don't.
Oh. Everybody's got an opinion about these things.
Yeah.
Don't call me a guitar player. I'm a guitarist. Don't call me a guitarist. I'm a guitar player. Don't call me late for lunch.
Yeah. Right. Don't call me late for lunch.
Yeah. No, go ahead and call me late for lunch. I'm trying to diet. What color? Sorry. Okay. Anyway, well, that's enough preamble, isn't it, for 1 week? But I'll be there Friday, Saturday night, Tuscan Moon. Make reservations. Place is packed. It gets really slow after from January until a big rush of activity on Valentine's Day, which is really important for Spanish guitar, for lovers, And then it falls off and it's like dead until, things start happening in April, and May's better, and now we're in June. So, standing room only. Well, actually, it's reservations, and so I be out there in the patio. Do it again, sure. Somehow it's all siesta time when I do this show. So anyway, so this week I brought a bunch of stuff. I brought 3 guitars and my handy little Fender Super Champ XD, which is a little 15-watt tube amp with some digital effects on it. It's a what you might call a well, some might call it practice amp, but it's about as loud as I ever get is this amp. I have bigger ones. But anyway, there you go. Fender Super Champ XD. It's not actually a cheap amp. I got it. It's weird. I had a really cheap Fender amp. It was probably made in China or Indonesia, and it failed on me in less than a year because it was all like it was a solid state, and it had a little chip in it, and it just something went wrong. And so I took it to the music store. We took it to West Music in Coralville, and they sent it to Fender. But Fender said, well, we discontinued this model. We can't fix it, so here's one. So they gave me this one, which is about the same size. But this one, this Super Champ XD, is a tube amp. And whereas the one I got was like $99.99. This one's like $350 or something like that. And I got it, an even swap for my defective $99 guitar amp. Now, the good thing about my $99 guitar amp was it worked really well as like a solid state to plug my electric nylon string guitars into, because I made a very clean, uncomplicated sound. And this one is, doesn't work very well for that at all. But since then, I've learned, it's been several years, I've learned how to, appreciate it for other things like big fat jazz guitars like this one, which is my Dean Palomino Solo. With a single pickup, floating pickup, not attached to the top, but screwed onto the end of the fingerboard, a mini humbucker, and it's gold. Just one pickup and 2 knobs. Volume. And tone. Which I leave them both up and all the way, So I got this, and then I'm going to play 2 more guitars. So get your popcorn. Here we go. love this guitar. It's a big, fat, hollow body, solid top, which is hard to find, because it's curved. It's a little bit curved, so it means it takes more wood because they have to carve it out, you know. Plywood's cheaper. They just press it out. So, plywood, laminated. Yeah. Isn't that just a nice way to say plywood? You know, yeah. It's like a previously owned automobile, used car, mobile home or modular manufactured housing, trailer, yeah. Mobile home park, trailer court. Yeah. I used to live in a trailer court. It was the Iowa City Mobile Home Park. They changed the name from the Iowa City Trailer Court. I see. So, reminds me of young Frankenstein. Igor.
Yeah, I lived in one that was called Kings Park.
Kings Park. There's a,
Never felt like a king living there,
yeah.
but it wasn't a bad place.
No, well, I actually I mean, I know you're not supposed to say white trash, so I'm not going to say it. But
Except you already have.
oh yeah, well no, but there were the police knew their way around our little trailer park well. They never actually. The only ones came to my house, my trailer, and it was a very strange thing. A woman had knocked on my door, and she said that she'd been stabbed, and so I told her to sit down, and I called 911. She didn't want me to. I said, no, I've got to. I called 911, and then they rushed to. And I was lying. Before that, I had been lying on my sofa with terrible flu or a terrible chest cold or something, you know, and my nose all stopped up. And it used to be, and I gotten over this, but I used to get like a nosebleed sometimes when I was sick. You know, my nose would get, my nose would start bleeding. You know, so I was wearing a white T-shirt, lying on the couch with a fever when somebody knocked on the door, and so. I was barefoot, or I just had my socks on, and it was, cooler weather. But anyway, so I ran. So I dealt with that, and then the ambulance went the wrong way because there was like a fork in the road in the trailer court. So I ran over there. I ran to the end of the road to flag down the ambulance, say over here, and then the police came and everything. But then it opened up, so I had blood all over my shirt. And the police didn't like this very much somehow when they showed up. And they didn't actually take me away, but they camped outside my door all night while I lay there, wondering what was going to happen next.
Well, you must have felt very safe.
Yeah, felt great, just great. But then, because it's amazing how many people get sent up the river for things they didn't do.
Yeah.
The Innocence Project,
Right.
People being exonerated and let off death
Yeah,
row.
guys on death row that DNA clears.
Yeah, after they've been there for 20, 30 years sometimes. And like that. So I could be just getting out now. But anyway, so after in the morning, after a while, the police left.
Fortunate she lived and could tell them you didn't stab her.
Right, because the thing is, she stabbed herself.
Oh.
And this is somebody looking for attention, and the thing is, she didn't actually stab herself until after I had called the police, or the 911, and she stabbed herself with a very small screwdriver. And the thing is that they discovered that the screwdriver set, that she had just bought it, an hour or so before she committed the act at the local hardware store, which is like right there,
Yeah.
And then she didn't stab herself very much, very deep, and she was quite a heavy woman, so it didn't get, it was a long way from any kind of vital organ. It was just, into fat. And that she'd done this sort of thing before in her home territory of the Quad Cities. You see, this is all told me. This detective came to where I worked and interviewed me a couple of days later. And first he asked me a bunch of questions, like, what about the blood? And so I told the police officer my nose was bleeding, which is I was sick, and when she knocked on the door. But the only reason she knocked on my door instead of all the other trailers is I had this light, which is actually a bare bulb, illuminating my kitchen sink there at the end of the trailer. Oh, excuse me, manufactured housing. But, there's like an overhang, so it was like offset lighting for me. But if you looked at it from the street, you see this very bright light, So she saw that light and knocked on my door. Anyway, So I guess they locked her up. But she's probably crazy. I mean, you know, but it's one of those things, you know. You get kind of nervous because, you know, you can get busted for something you didn't do.
Yes.
It happens fairly often. And and I know everybody they go to work. They just want to get it done, you know. Yeah. And if you're a police officer, perhaps you just want to clear your caseload. So we got to send somebody up the river. That guy should be easy.
Yeah.
And
that's a case closed.
That's right. He had blood on him. Was it her blood? No, it was his blood. Oh, why?
Well, how long ago was this? Could they even tell then?
Well, they could do blood types. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know when it was. I moved in my house in 1991.
Of course, if you're both a common blood type.
That's true. That's true. But, so how did her blood from, yeah. Anyway, one of those things. So, anyway, why am I telling these stories? Well.
Why not? We have an hour to fill.
Well, my son was telling me that his cousin graduated from high school, and he was over there at his cousin's house, his mother's house, whatever, and there was somebody visiting from Australia who had tuned into my show and was watching it, and he said that I tell these stories and play guitar, and he's trying to figure out what the show was about.
So you've told, if they tuned in at the beginning, you told them.
Yeah, actually, my son, I should have told him. Just tell him it's about an hour.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's about, right? Anyway, all right.
We should credit our absent graphics and sound man, Phil Phillips, for that.
That's right. Where is Phil these days? I had it. That's it. I was thinking about Phil. I couldn't do it anymore. Irving Berlin song from the 1920 something, I think. What'll I do? People ask if I know any oldies. We were talking about, I was talking to the cameraman, BJ over here, about digging up old manuscripts from the 1500s and, music. So those are some real oldies, When they get up to 500 years old, then then we're talking an oldie, huh? So, yeah. Well, I remember Mr. Skopinski and I were talking about this months ago on the show. It's one of the things we're going to do, because I read an article about somebody who had figured out there's a poem, and there's the Roman equivalent of the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, talking about what notes you should use to recite the various words of this Latin poem from Rome a couple thousand years ago, something like that. And so somebody figured it out, So it could be like a real oldie, like 2,000-year-old, song, right? Figure out, anyway. Well, let's see what else we have around here. Oh, yeah. I think this will come off. That came off easy. This one? Not so much, huh? I managed to get I forget what, I had some sort of a windfall in the music store a few months ago, and I got some new straps, because some of my straps, well, they still work okay. They smell kind of like cheese. I shouldn't say that, but it's hot in the summer when I play outdoors. Never mind. Sorry. Hey, that fits right there. This is kind of nice strap. All right. So, oops. Yeah. Okay. I think I'd be better at this. Wow, that's gold. That's okay. That's gold. That's silver. Okay. This. So this here is my, it's a little noisy actually. It's supposed to be quieter.
Turn your antenna.
Anyway. These are lace sensor Zions. I love Stratocasters, but it doesn't like all the lights. Anyway, this is a long, boring story. It was in tune. Hang on, so here's my story. I bought this guitar some years ago. I don't remember how many, but who cares, right? It's a Mexican Stratocaster, and I have quite a collection of Mexican Stratocasters. And I always liked playing it, but I didn't like the white, kind of stained white pickguard on top, or the rather snaggle-toothed pickups it came with that hummed badly. Now, this is actually quite loud. It's different rooms, the lights and everything are making it hum. I don't know if you can hear that at home, but I can hear it. But anyway, so I had lace sensor pickups put on, which means I had, for you, all you lace sensor pickup fans, purple at the neck, light blue in the middle, and burgundy at the bridge. So it's, so the color of the printing on them signifies a different, design. Underneath the little covers here, different windings and stuff. And these are lace sensors, which are kind of well regarded in some people's minds. So, and then I had everything done in black. So I think this guitar is beautiful. And I don't know how well it rocks. Or even tunes. It's just going out of tune even as we speak. But anyway, so I think it's beautiful. And of course, I moved the strap button from here to back here so that it hangs just like a classical guitar. once you start really going with this thing, it plays. It's making noises. It's picking something up. If I face over here, I'm okay. How's my profile? About as bad as the rest of it, huh?
Kind of like aiming your TV antenna.
That's right. I am. I'm aiming my guitar antenna. Here I am in profile, huh? How you like that, huh? So they're getting better from the side than the front? No, probably worse. Huh. Yeah, no, I usually I'm looking at myself in the monitor. I mean, you're not supposed to look at yourself in the monitor, but it's kind of, I normally don't look at myself that much,
Our crew is now skilled with that thing, and your nose doesn't disappear when you turn sideways anymore.
Yeah, I remember when that used to be the bad old days. Yeah. I'm okay over here too. But then I can't talk in the microphone. So maybe I should play kind of side saddle or something. Anyway, so these are lace sensors, and so I had this guitar kind of retrofitted. And I think I brought that red one that I got in the pawn shop. It was a couple of weeks ago. It was a show where I got another Mexican Strat. It was red with a maple neck, and it had some major gouges out of it. And some guy put the big eye screws. People call them eye bolts, but it would
Screw eyes.
yeah, screw
Correct.
eyes.
For those, yeah.
Screw eyes, not eye screws. Screw eyes.
We'll look it up, but I think screw eyes.
Okay. Well, I mean, the screws with a great big eye on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like a ring, on the end of it. It doesn't have like an eyeball, but it has or a letter eye, but it has a round piece of metal, like a ring at the end of it, so you can hook your dog onto the porch so it doesn't run
Right.
away. That's what it's for, right? And things like that. But anyway, so this one had those instead of strap. We replaced those, and somebody told me who did it. Some rock and roller did that with their guitars or something. It became a thing.
So a lot of imitators, huh?
Yeah. But anyway, so the guitar had been, mistreated in many ways in some ways, but I got it extremely cheaply. I mean, ridiculously cheaply at the pawn shop. And I took it home and I worked on it for a couple of hours and I got it. So it plays okay, but really it's the least as far as the tone, it's the least among my Strat collection there. So I've made arrangements to have it has a white pick guard, but this one, the guy had left they come with a protective plastic coating, which you're supposed to peel off when you get it. I mean, a lot of things come like that, like your,
Right.
anything with a screen on it usually has a little plastic thing, film, and you peel it off. But this had been left on for probably years. It had, adhered in a big way. And the glue had bonded with the top. So I cleaned it up as much as I could. I scrubbed it with that Goo Gone stuff that smells like, orange oil or something. So, but anyway, I made arrangements. I found out that for a mere $225, which is some money.
Mirror, huh?
Yeah, well, if you paid it off slow, it's not so bad. Anyway, then you get what they call a loaded pick guard. So what it is, it's the whole pick guard, assembly with all the screws and everything in it, and the pickups and all the, and the knobs. And all you have to do is just, take out the old one, snip the wires, resolder the other one in place, and screw it in. So it's much less than, because this one, this thing, the whole thing comes like, everything is there.
Yeah.
And I ordered black. So all I have to do is as I say, solder a couple of wires and then, screw it on. This one, the guy had to, put on all of these pickups and the knobs and everything and screw everything into place and then do a bunch of soldering. So should be a little less trouble. It's only like $20 more than getting the components. So that'll come. Lace apparently builds them to order. So the order went in a week or so ago, and it might be 2 or 3 weeks before they get it, and maybe a month before it's all put together. In which case, I'll bring it to Tom's Guitar
Come
Show.
in and tell us the story.
Yeah, and I'll play it. I'm hoping it'll be a nice guitar. It has different Lace makes a whole bunch of different pickups. They make, of course, replacement pickups for other sorts of guitars also, humbuckers and so forth. But they make a lot of Stratocaster pickups, and these are, as I say, the purple, light blue, and burgundy colored. And then the other one have silver, blue, and red in my another guitar, which I got at the pawn shop really cheap and had the big screws, screw eyes or eye screws, whatever, in it. And I got that one really like $150, but And it needed some help too, because it was kind of gouged up and bashed up in places. But I've discovered that nail polish is a quick, shiny, and easy way if you can get close to the color.
Yeah.
And I don't need the really high quality nail polish. I get the stuff at the dollar store for $1. And so I've got red and blue and black. So I touch them up with that, you know. And so anyway, touched up the red one with the red. Anyway, so I'll bring that into the show, and we'll have a time with that later when that comes in. But I'm hoping it'll be, you know, another voice, because I have a whole bunch of Strats, and people wonder why I need so many, but they all sound different the way I have them rigged up. You know, they're all different, and they all have a different voice. This one is, you know, makes a pretty good. Sort of jazz guitar. Anyway, I enjoy that, but I got one more. Excuse me, I have one more guitar to play this evening. So here's my customized wooden-colored Strat, which I think is quite beautiful. I don't know if it looks as beautiful at home, but isn't that pretty? Huh? What do you think? That look good? Huh?
Very nice.
What do you think, BJ? Think it's pretty? Huh? Is that pretty? Huh? I just want you to agree with me. Maybe we should switch on the camera, see what's going on in the control room. Can we do that? We got a new intern. Is there an intern working back there?
Yeah, we have.
Let's switch over to a camera in there. We had that going earlier before the show. We want to see, we got the new intern. We had BJ here for a couple of weeks, and he's like, you know, we're taking him for granted now. So, oh, there they are. Look at there. Oh, there, Mr. Skopinski.
Ah.
And I can't remember your name. What's your name, new intern? Could you turn the mic up, PA
Are you
on?
mic'd in there?
You're mic'd. I have to turn it on. Emily, that's right, Emily. How could I forget? Okay, all right, great. So, welcome aboard. Sometimes we like to ask questions of the new interns, see what they're into, or why they come here to be with us, and
Tell us about yourself.
tell us a little bit about yourself. Like fade her back in, will you? Fade her back in for a second. We want to find out.
They've seen us.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hi. So yeah, I just started interning here, and I am a recent graduate from the University of Iowa with English and cinema, and I'm excited to work here at PA TV and get some hands-on experience with live television.
Yeah, and you get to be this can kind of expand your cinema experience. And if you look at the microphone you're talking into now, it's like an antique. They don't make them like that anymore. Well, I remember when we used to have mics set like that. Anyway, but
And let's tell our audience, if they want to learn to make TV, come on down to PA TV, corner of South Dubuque and Lafayette, and you too can make TV.
yeah, they let me do it. It's too loud. Oh, this is in tune though. Let's see. I just restrung this yesterday. I've been planning to take it on, bring it here. The strings it came with were fine, but I think they were 10s. I had to put it on 11s because I get excited, and I kind of hit them kind of hard sometimes, Now it looks like my action's kind of high. Sorry, it's Tom's tuning show. Yeah, it's a little bit high. That's sharp. See, it's supposed to be the same note. Here's the harmonic. Here's the, well, that's what happened overnight. I restrung this yesterday. Okay, so this is a Reverend. Everybody's been talking about Reverend guitars, and I say, I don't know. They look okay, but I mean, you know, so what? I have a guitar. And then I went to a guitar shop for some fairly benign purpose, I think. I forget what it was. Maybe I went to get maybe I went to get another guitar. I don't know what it was. I know what it was. It was a 10-string.
You know what happens when you go to guitar shops.
Yeah, same thing happens when a drunk goes into a bar, or a compulsive gambler goes into a casino. There it goes. Never retired. Maybe I'll be tired, but never retired. Yeah. Anyway,
The remission never lasts.
yeah, not long. You white knuckle yourself through a couple months, or weeks or something, every hour. Bought 2 guitars yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah. Cheap ones, but they were interesting. One was so cheap. There's a cheap classical, an Ibanez. I got it for $70 after I paid the sales tax on it. And I had a bunch of broken strings and it was filthy, so I cleaned it. It was pawn shop. I cleaned it up and I restrung it. And now it's it's not even mediocre, but it's a playable classical guitar. And it could be a good loaner or something like that, you see. A bargain is an item you can't use at a price you can't resist. But the other one is a Washburn that I got at West Music, and it was quite inexpensive. It's used, solid top folk, dreadnought folk guitar. And it's actually very nice, and it wasn't very expensive. I gave him all the money. Well, not all my money. I still have some $1 bills left from my weekend. I see. It's like, I got enough to buy. I could buy some food, maybe.
You get a loaf of bread now.
Yeah, at least. But I spent all the other money I had, all the ones that there weren't ones on it, and a few ones, actually a handful of them. But it's really a very nice folk guitar. Now I have another dreadnought that's nicer, but I have 2. See, I have a Guild, an old Guild from the 70s, which I didn't need either, but I have that now. It's a dreadnought, but this one is a Washburn. And anyway, it's a long story. So, but anyway, so okay, I went in to get my 10-string guitar that I had ordered. Actually, I got it from the other store, the Musician's Pro Shop. And I've been hearing about Reverends for a couple of months, and I played a bunch of them, didn't really like them. This was new, this was in the window. And I recognized its qualities at first glance. I looked in the window on my way in. And it didn't take that long for me to kind of fall off the wagon. So anyway, so here's a Reverend guitar, 2 humbuckers, very quiet as far as, clean, powerful sound. Switch all the way down here. So, I hate when people ask themselves questions and then answer themselves, but I'm going to do it anyway. Do I need, or do I already have a really good sounding humbucking guitar, which is relatively new? I haven't even played it that much. Yes. I have the G&L ASAT Deluxe with 2 humbuckers and a contoured body. Same sort of specification, same basic description as this one, except they sound different. And they both sound really, really good. They're both really super quiet as far as hum is concerned. And I'm even thinking about naming my G&L, which is kind of a red color, cherry burst. I'm thinking of calling it Cherry Baby in honor of Pee-wee's Playhouse. Ever seen Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Sure.
Cherry Baby is this chair that talks and hugs you when you sit down. So
Well, didn't the Four Seasons sing Sherry Baby?
yeah, that's probably where he got it from. You know, I didn't stretch these out much before I came, and it's not the guitar's fault. It's my fault, and now that I'm here, you know, I head outside the house and I realize it needs stretching and adjusting and a little bit of polishing, but
As you said, some nights it's the Tom's Tuning Show.
that's right. I can't decide whether I'm going to play Downtown or Our Day Will Come. I'll play one after the other. Oops. Oh, I know. It's D minor. You know, I didn't do that very well. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna start the whole thing again, okay? Because I forgot what I was doing. I was thinking about something else. I was thinking about other guitars. I'll think about this one. 60s pop songs. I bet you recognize all those.
Sure, and you do know some stuff that's newer than the 40s.
Yeah, no, that's 60s. Yeah. Did you recognize any of those? See? See, cameraman's a little younger than we are. Most people on the show are, actually. This is a show for old men, so don't worry. It's not like something that it only comes with age. It won't happen. You won't like age prematurely.
So,
but,
someday you'll be an oldie.
yeah. If you're lucky, I mean, look both ways before you cross the streets. I know here at the University of Iowa, people they're always like looking at their phone as they walk in front of like cars. Anyway, well, I'll be back next week. I always come back. Check me out, Tuscan Moon this weekend, Kelowna. Dinner time, 6:30 to 9:30, 10. Make reservations. Tuscan Moon in Kelowna, Iowa.
And Tom and the Tribbles at Trek Fest.
That's right. That's coming up.